Hello there, and thank you so much. This is Thursday's edition of Your Business Nigeria. Well, these are the top stories we're tracking for you at this time. FAC shares 1.65 trillion naira to federal government, states, and local governments as May revenue. Swiss National Bank cuts interest rates to zero as Fed keeps rates steady. Stocks tumble, safe haven gains as Middle East conflict flares. Well, let's see how this conflict has affected the markets now, the commodities market like gold, which is in red this afternoon, 0.69% in negative. That's minus 23.50, and it's selling for $3,384.60 per ounce. That's for gold. Silver is $36.38. Copper is $486.60. Platinum is $1,296.14, and negative 5.56, and it's down 1.93%. That's platinum. For copper is also down 0.82%, and silver is down 1.46%. Obviously, all of the markets, the commodities in this trading chart shows that it is in red. Of course, it's a negative impact looking at what's been happening across the globe and in the Middle East. We'll be looking at that and how it affects the supply chain even further on the show today. Corn, wheat, cocoa, and cotton. Let's say this is a mixed bag. Corn and wheat is staying in green, while cocoa and cotton is in red. Corn is 1.20% in positive, selling for $444 per metric ton of this commodity. Wheat is $590.50. Cocoa is down. Obviously, it was above $9,000 as at last week, but this week is down to $8,803 for a metric ton of cocoa. Cotton is $66.67, and just wheat is 4.42% in green. Yes, that is looking pretty high, and corn is also a bit high. But cocoa and cotton are on the flip side this afternoon. See, the markets are tumbling as Middle East conflict flares. Global stocks fell and the dollar rose today as investors concerned over the United States' possible entry into the Israel-Iran air war. We sought safe haven assets and ditched riskier ones. Now, in Europe, stocks fell for a third day, leaving the stock 600 down nearly 2.5%. On the week set for the biggest week-on-week decline since the tariff-induced turmoil of April. U.S. S&P 500 futures fell 0.6%, although most U.S. markets, including the Wall Street and the Treasury markets, will be closed for a public holiday. The dollar itself rose broadly, leaving the euro down 0.1% and $1.15. The Australian and New Zealand dollars, both risk-linked currencies, down 0.9% and 1% respectively. The franc, which has been a major beneficiary of a safe haven buying this year, was last steady against both the dollar at 0.82 francs and the euro at 0.94 francs sterling, edged 0.1% lower to $1.34. Both staying in bloody red this afternoon, 2.5% and 0.6% for the markets. Well, let's see what the oil market is also looking like. The prices surged today after Israel said it attacked Iranian nuclear sites in Natanz and Iraq overnight, as investors grappled with fears of a broader conflict in the Middle East that could disrupt crude supplies. But U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude rose to $75.82 per barrel, high 0.90% positive. That's the uptick we see in that market. Brent crude futures sells for $76.99 with an upward margin again of 0.38%. Bonnie Light sells for $78.62 with a downward margin of 2.84%, dipping in red. For the OPEC basket, dealers are offering $73.15, and it's down 0.26%.